Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congresswoman Chavez-DeRemer, welcome. It's great to see you here. I enjoyed our conversation. It's been, now a month or more ago, but it's great to see you here. You've taken questions, obviously, from both sides, and I know you've taken a little heat from both sides. You've handled it beautifully. Let me just get a few things straight. For my Republican colleagues, let me just clarify. You are President Trump's choice to lead the Department of Labor. Have I got that right?
Yes, you have.
And you support the president's policies and will implement his agenda. Have I got that right?
Yes.
And to my Democrat colleagues, you very proudly sponsored many pieces of pro-labor legislation in your time in the United States House of Representatives. You have a long record of working with labor, of working with business to try to advance a pro-worker agenda. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Which is probably why the president chose you for this role, if I'm speculating. Is that fair? I think your record is really outstanding. Let me ask you about one issue that hasn't gotten a whole lot of airtime today, but I think is so important. That's the significance of immigration when it comes to the American worker. I've got a chart here that I want to show you. This is the Department of Labor's own data on jobs following the pandemic and in the last administration, in the Biden administration. If you look here in the red, those are foreign-born workers. If you look at the blue, those are American-born workers. And as you can see, the data that you can see it, the graphic itself tells the story. American-born workers, no change in employment, just a return to the norm in the Biden administration. Foreign-born workers, that's where all the jobs go. What's it mean? According to the Department of Labor's own statistics, during the Biden administration, virtually all of the job gains, which were pretty meager, I have to say, but even that, virtually all of them went to foreign-born workers. Now, we know, again, from the Biden administration's own statistics, that about 11 million encounters with illegal immigrants were recorded at the border. During 1 month alone, the Biden administration allowed 370,000 illegal immigrants to cross the border. Many of these people got work permits and started working, competing with American workers and legal residents, many of them union members. And of course, illegal immigrants, not union members, companies don't pay them the same wages. They don't offer them the same protections. Speak to the danger of out-of-control illegal immigration when it comes to wages and benefits for American workers.
Thank you, Senator. Very important issue, and one that I know that the president has been very public about, protecting the American worker, and understand that we don't want to displace American workers. I understand some of the senators in the guest visa program on the immediacy of certain industries. But as a whole, we want to make sure that we're always investing in the American worker first, that we want to be one of the strongest economies in the union and in the world. So we can be on a level to compete with our, maybe our foreign adversaries when we're talking about China. But what's important to the president and important to me and how we align is making sure that we're putting the American worker first and that they have the opportunities to earn and be at those jobs as they see fit, and the Department of Labor to support them in that investment in those industries.
Is it fair to say that a tough border policy that cracks down on illegal immigration, that stops the flow of mass illegal immigration across our border, stops the work permits being given to illegal immigrants, this is pro-worker. This helps American workers maintain their wages and maintain their jobs. Is that fair to say?
It does.
Let me ask you about some of the children who came across the border, were trafficked across the border in the last administration. 520,000 of them, to be precise, unaccompanied children trafficked across the border. Hundreds of thousands of them lost and now being exploited by companies like Tyson's Food, for example. Let me just give you an example of bad corporate behavior. Tyson's Food has closed down 2 major plants in my state, the state of Missouri, just in the last year and a half. They have canceled contracts with farmers. They have put thousands of workers in my state out of business, and yet we know from the investigations done by the New York Times and others that they have huge numbers of illegal child labor in their supply chains. In their factories, they are putting children who are trafficked here to work. So they're firing American workers, but they are exploiting child workers. Will you go after companies like Tyson's and anyone else who would violate our labor laws and exploit children while they are firing American workers?
Yes, that's an important remit under the Department of Labor, as you know, to protect and not exploit all workers, but certainly child labor should not be accepted by anybody in America. And the Department of Labor has the enforcement capability to double down if they knowingly are breaking the law and exploiting children in their factories.
I think we've got to make the penalties even tougher. Senator Booker and I have bipartisan legislation to do that. And again, it is pro-worker to say we're going to protect Americans who are working legally, and we're not going to allow children to be exploited in this country, or people trafficked into this country to be exploited for the purpose of profits by these mega corporations.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Hawley.